Hello everyone, I'm Anu Chakki and I'm a legal intern with Lexis and Company, and the topic for today's video presentation is delegated legislation. So Indian democracy is set to rest on the acclaimed four pillars, and these are the legislature, the executive, the judiciary and the press. These pillars are empowered by the constitution and not to interfere in the matters of others. As per the constitution, the legislative has legislative powers and the executive has the power to execute the laws. Similarly, the judiciary has the power to resolve the dispute and to sort out the dispute and hand out the justice. But we have to keep in mind that there are various functions that have to be performed by the legislature in welfare states, and it is not an easy task for the legislature to look after every matter. In contrast to this increasing legislative activity, the legislatures are not able to find adequate time to legislate on every minute details. They have limited themselves to policy matters and have left a large volume of area to the executive to make rules to carry out the purposes of the legislature. In such types of situation, the system of delegated legislation comes to our mind. Therefore, the need for delegation is necessary and is sought to be justified on the ground of flexibility, adaptability and speed. This delegation is known as secondary legislation or subordinate legislation. The act that gives the executive power to legislate is called the Enabling Statute or Parent Act. So, delegation has been defined by the Black's Law Dictionary as an act of entrusting a person with the power or empowering him to an act on behalf of that person who has given him that particular power, or to act as his agent or representative. So the term delegated legislation means exercising of legislative power by an agent who is lower in rank to the legislature or who is subordinate to the legislature. Delegated legislation, additionally alluded to as an auxiliary legislation, is an enactment made by an individual or body other than the parliament. Hence, the parliament through an act of parliament can allow someone else or some body to make enactment. An act of parliament makes the system a specific or particular law and tends to contain an outline of the purposes of the purpose for the act. By delegating the legislation by parliament to the executive or any subordinate, it empowers different people or bodies to integrate more details to an act of parliament. According to Salmond, legislation is either supreme or subordinate, whereas the former proceeds from sovereign or supreme power, the latter flows from an authority other than the sovereign power, and it is therefore dependent for its existence and continuance on the supreme authority. So, when the function of legislation is entrusted to organs other than the legislature by the legislature itself, the legislation made by such organs is called delegated legislation. Examples of this can be power to issue order in urgent cases of nuisance of apprehended danger. In cases where the opinion of a district magistrate, a subdivisional magistrate or any other executive magistrate, especially empowered by the state government in this behalf, there is sufficient ground for proceeding under this section, and immediate prevention or speedy remedy is desirable. So the Essential Commodities Act of 1955 enumerates certain commodities as essential commodities under the Act. But the list given in the statute is not exhaustive, and the central government is empowered to declare any other commodity as essential commodity and to apply provisions of this Act. Payment of Bonus Act 1965 empowers central government to exempt any establishment or a class of establishments from the operation of the Act, having regard to the financial position and other relevant conditions. And the next one is the Defense of India Act of 1962, which authorizes the central government to make such rules as appear to it necessary or expedient for defense of India and maintenance of public order and safety. So this was the first part on the topic of delegated legislation, and I will continue the topic in the second video presentation. Thank you everyone.